Okay, in this topic, we're going to continue working on quadratic equations and how can we solve problems along with quadratic equations. So using remember, just revise of a quadratic formula. So in that part here under the square root, if for example we have negative number, if we have a positive number, we can find obviously the square root of a positive number, square root of a 0. So square root of a positive number you can find, square root of a 0 just 0, but a square root of a negative number is invalid. Okay, so you can't find a square root of any negative number. So that's why we're going to use this value here, which is called the discriminant, is under the square root, to figure out if the quadratic has no solutions, or has one solution, or it has two solutions. All about this value here, this positive negative. So if b squared minus 4ac equal 0, mean you have one root or one solution. If b squared minus 4ac greater than 0, mean you have two solutions. If b squared minus 4ac less than 0, you have no real solution, because there will be a solution in year 13 called imaginary solutions or complex solutions, but now there is no real solutions. You can use the word solutions or roots, they both means the same thing. Now let's take some applications. Now we'll do applications on this. So for example, if we have 4x squared minus 8x plus m equals 0, they tell you that's a quadratic equation that's only, it has one solution. It has, so it's only one value of x satisfies the equation. Okay, so one value of x satisfied the equation means one solution. Satisfy the equation means solutions or roots. So we know from the previous slide that if it's b squared minus 4ac, one value means equal to 0, because that's the only one that gives me one solution. Now if I substitute, b is 8, so 64 minus 4 times a is 4 times m equals 0. So you can see you've got an equation with m unknown. So I've got 64 minus 16m equals 0. So 16m equals 64, m equal 64 over 16, simplify 16, m equal 4. So that's answering the question. Okay, we'll do another example. It says find all possible values of d. So the equation we have is x squared plus 5x minus 1 minus d, open bracket, x squared plus 1 close bracket equals 0. And this one here says find all solutions of d if real solutions exist. Now real solution exists, they didn't say it's one or two solutions, so that's mean we will have to use b squared minus 4ac greater than or equal to 0, because they haven't specified if it is one solution or more than one solution. Now before we can even do this, we will have to work out our a, b and c. We have x, so a is the coefficient of x, b is the coefficient of a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and the c is constants. And you can't do that unless you expand and collect the like terms as in the x squared. So I'm gonna expand first. So I'm gonna prepare my equation first. Negative dx squared minus d equals 0. Now having the x's together, so x squared with x squared, that's the common factor, so that's why I have 1 minus d x squared. Only one terms with x, and I have the terms negative 1, negative d equals 0. So that gives me, this one is my c, this is my b, and here is my a. Now I can substitute. So b squared is 25 minus 4 times a is 1 minus d. C is negative 1 minus d. And I wanted to make it greater than or equal to 0. So we will expand. So I've got negative 1, negative d, positive d, and then positive d squared greater than or equal to 0. These two will simplify and expand the 4 as well. So I'm just going to do more than one step at a time. So plus 4, because negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4, and then negative 4d squared greater than or equal to 0. Collect the like terms. I've got 29 minus 4d squared greater than or equal to 0. I'm just going to continue here. I'm just going to continue over here. So I've reached this step so far. Now rearrange. I've got negative, so I'm going to take the 29. I'm going to leave the 29 on this side and then the 4d squared over there. And now divide by 4. So d is positive, negative square root of 29 over 4 greater than or equal. That's d. Now we will have, it's a quadratic, so we've got two values, so we'll have to find the range of values. So I'm going to do my number line over here. I'm just going to find what's the square root of 29 over 4 is 2.26. So I've got negative 2.69 and positive 2.69. And now so find the 0 between negative 3 and positive 3. Now I'm going to substitute those d values over this equation here, the one with the d over here. This one, the easiest one you can substitute in. So if we have the 3 positive, obviously 4 times 9, it's bigger, 4 times 9 is 36, so that gives me a negative value in here. And then the positive 3 doesn't matter, still give me a negative value in here. The 0 give me a positive value. Now if we're coming in here, we want this value to be greater than or equal to 0, so we're only looking at the positive range, which is here. And that's why your final answer, d, is greater than negative 2.69 and less than 2.69. So this is the range of values of d. This is an excellent question, by the way, in the exam. Okay, we'll do another, that's just an achieved question. So find the nature of the roots. So you've got 3x squared minus x plus 2 equals 0. So just find the nature of the roots. You don't need to find the roots, you only need to find the nature of the roots. So you will say b squared minus 4ac. Find the value of that. So you've got 1 minus 4 times 3 times 2 so it's a negative value. So negative 23. So b square minus 4ac is less than 0. So no real roots. That's achieved. We can do one more questions. Okay. So we find the possible values of k. So we've got x squared plus k minus 1 x plus k equals 0. The equation has no roots. So no real roots, sorry. No real roots. So no real roots means b squared minus 4ac should be less than 0. Now substitute. We've got k minus, so this is merit questions because you don't need to rearrange or simplify. You just need to get the a and b and c. It's clearly you can read the a and b and c in here. Minus 4 times 1 times k less than 0. Expand this. I got k squared minus 2k plus 1 minus 4k less than 0. Collecting like terms, I've got k squared minus 6k plus 1 less than 0. Then now you can solve this using quadratic formula. You can solve it using your calculator. So I'm going to use the calculator in here. So the calculator, you go to menu, you go to equations, and in equations there is 3 options: simultaneous, polynomial, solving. So if you press F2 in the equations, you go to polynomial, then you press F1. That takes you to degree of 2 because we have a degree of 2 in here. So I'm going to press F1, and then I can insert the values of a and b and c. So the a here is 1, b is negative 6, and c is 1. And press exe, and it gives you the 2 values. So k equal 5.83 and k equal 0.17. And now again we're going to use our number line. So 0.17 over here, 5.83 is over here, smaller than this is 0, in between is 1, more than that is 6. So now if we substitute that in this equation in here, the 0 gives me positive, so that gives me positive, the 1 will give me negative, and the 6 will definitely give me positive. Now I want this one here to be less than 0, so we're looking only for the negative value here, so that's only in between. So that's why k must be greater than 0.17, so it's greater than 1.7, and we want it to be smaller than 5.83. So those are the range of values that makes the k and make this equation has no real roots.